current book is it? I read a lot of comics and all this stuff. So currently I'm hooked on to Archie's Fat Digest. So I'm reading that right now. So yeah, I memean Archie's is one book that will always keep you young. You know, the Riverdale, the Archies, the Veronica. It's about friendship and it's about that young teenage love that is there. Somewhere that youth is somewhere left behind or it's still there with you. So it just scratches all the surface and takes you to that young age and all this stuff. So I think Archie's is one book that keeps me, gives me freshness, it's full of life and all this stuff. That's about my first book I'm reading right now.
Cool. What is that one book that has inspired you or has moved you along, which you at any given point of time would want to read again?
Okay. See, I would suggest, two books that have inspired me a lot, and I'll talk about two books here that have really inspired me and really moved me. Again, going back to comics, the first one inspired me a lot is Calvin Hobbes. Calvin Hobbes inspires me because it's all about a kid's imagination. Never let go of your imagination, never let go of your childhood dreams and all this stuff. So it is, for me, it is more of a philosophy than the fun part, than the comic part, and what do you have, all those puns and the silly comedies, the silly jokes and all this stuff. It is more than that for me. Somewhere Calvin Hobbes keeps the child inside you alive. And another book that I suggest and I recommend everybody to read is, I don't think I'm mature enough to comment on this, but then I recommend Ayn Rand's Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, or Ayn Rand's work. These two, the reason I'm talking about Ayn Rand is because every time I read the book, I understand a different way. So my past or whatever, till when I first read it, I think it was around 7 years ago. So I would have a 22, 23 years old past before that. And with that understanding, I understood, Howard Rock a different way. I understood Reader a different way. And I understood Ayn Rand's writings a different way. Now, again, after 5 years or 6 years, when I read it again, there are different characters to me altogether. So, yeah, I don't think I'll ever be able to understand those books completely, that I'll be able to talk about it. But yes, those things have influenced, moved, and inspired me a lot. Those two books are those.
Any apart from Archie's, any other literary work that you're reading right now?
I love. For me, I don't read biographies and all this stuff. I'm not into biographies or self-help books or self-developments and all this stuff. I love thrillers and I love twists in the tales. And I believe one person who's a master of twist in the tales is Guy de Maupassant, the French writer, and his collection of short stories. A person who can tell a twist in every 4 lines. That guy's a genius for me. So I've read his short story collections, and Nazar Garu, the veteran actor, he has actually, after I told him a couple of stories, he actually recommended this book. This writer to me said, "You read these books, this might actually help you." So after I read Guy de Maupassant's short stories and all this stuff, I felt how small I was when compared to his 2 pages writing. My 60, 70, 100 pages writing was very, shallow. So yeah, that is one book. Short stories of Guy de Maupassant is one book I recommend to all the people, and I usually carry that book with me. So some reference, some twist and tale, when you're telling a story, this is not good enough, you go back and see how he writes, and you're like, Macha, if he can write, at least we can try. It's like that.
And any Indian author on your mind right now who?
Indian authors annappudu, see, I more than the English authors, I would like to talk about are Telugu authors basically. So నాకు తెలుగు చదవటం రాయటం రాదు. I cannot read and write Telugu. సో నాకు తెలుగు రైటింగ్స్ పరిచయం అవ్వడం చాలా లేట్గా అంటే టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ 1 year, అంత స్పాన్ కూడా లేదు. సో లాట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ టోల్డ్ అబౌట్ చలం గారు, శ్రీశ్రీ గారు అండ్ కోకో గారు. I got to know about these people but never got my hands on to these books. ఉన్నా సరే I could not read. పట్టుకోవడం చేతులతో I would never get to understand. So my friend Raj, who's a cinematographer, so he reads lot of books అన్నమాట. తెలుగు బుక్స్ బాగా చదువుతాడు. So what we used to do is, even maybe we'll do it tomorrow, day after also, around night 10-11 o'clock we get into the car, get onto the outer ring road, we do a whole circle కొడుతూ he sits next to me and he starts reading books అన్నమాట. So I understand, that is how I get to learn what they've written and what beautiful writings they have. And తెలుగు రాకపోవడంతో, బీయింగ్ తెలుగు, ట్రైంగ్ టు బీ తెలుగు డైరెక్టర్, తెలుగు రావట్లేదు, వాళ్ళ మాటలు వింటుంటే the juice or the essence that they bring in just 1-2 lines, oh my god, అంటే this is the కొత్తగా ఉంది కాబట్టి it is really exciting me అన్నమాట. It moves you, it really moves you a lot. And somewhere Telugu cinemalu is what stories I know only through cinemas and serials and all this stuff. So DDలో కొన్ని వెరీ గుడ్ సీరియల్స్ వచ్చేవి. సో అవి అగైన్ ఇన్స్పైర్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ చలం గారు రైటింగ్స్ నుంచి. ఆయన చలం గారు, శ్రీశ్రీ గారు కథల్ని సీరియల్స్ కింద తీసేవారు. అప్పుడు నాకు తెలీదు. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ ఇస్, ఆ తర్వాత సినిమాలు చూసిన తర్వాత ఐ థాట్ ఈవెన్ ద బుక్స్ ఆర్ లౌడ్. మన తెలుగు సినిమా లిటిల్ లౌడర్ దెన్ ద రెగ్యులర్ కంటెంపరీ వరల్డ్. అవుట్ సైడ్ వరల్డ్ కన్నా మన సినిమాలు కొంచెం లౌడ్గా ఉంటాయి. యాక్షన్ సీక్వెన్సెస్ కానీ, డైలాగ్స్ కానీ, చెప్పడం కానీ, ఆర్టికులేషన్ కానీ లౌడ్. సో ఐ థాట్ బుక్స్ కూడా లౌడ్గా ఉంటాయని అనుకునేవాడిని. బట్ ఓన్లీ ఆఫ్టర్ ఐ లిసన్ టు దిస్, ఐ నాట్ రీడ్ దెమ్ లైక్ ఐ సెడ్, ఐ లిసన్ టు దిస్, ఐ ఫెల్ట్ హౌ బ్యూటిఫుల్ దే వేర్ అండ్ దే ఆర్ టాప్ నాచ్. అండ్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ Sri Chalam Coco for no reason. One amazing writers. But the sad part is our drive finishes in 3 to 4 hours and I don't get to read a whole novel. So I just get to listen to short stories and all this stuff. And man, they are one piece of work. So yeah.
So you told me that as a kid it was slightly challenging for you, going to a certain precondition. And your mother had helped you solve it, especially when it came to reading books. Can you narrate something about it?
Okay, so apparently, I think it was around 3rd or 4th class when I started losing my concentration on studies and all this stuff. And from being a good student, I was moving down to being a bad student. Teachers ki ardhamayyedi kaadu, because అంత డ్రాస్టిక్ చేంజ్ టీచర్స్కి అర్థమయ్యేది కదా. దే యూస్ టు కాల్ మై మామ్ అండ్ దే యూస్ టు ఆస్క్ దెమ్, ఏంటండి చదవట్లేదు, దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్. బట్ దెన్ వన్ థింగ్ మై మామ్ అబ్జర్వ్డ్ వాజ్ ఐఎమ్ స్టిల్ రీడింగ్ కామిక్స్, ఐఎమ్ స్టిల్ రీడింగ్ టింకిల్స్ అండ్ ఆర్చీస్ అండ్ ఆల్ దిస్. సూపర్మ్యాన్ బుక్స్ ఉండేవి అన్నయ్య దగ్గర. మై cousin brother used to have Tintins and Supermans and Asterix and all. So I used to read them and I used to tell the stories back. So mom was surprised, story books చెప్తున్నావు, you're not able to tell my English textbooks అని చెప్పలేకపోతున్నా అని చెప్పి. So what she did was, she completely wrote the whole science textbook, social textbook in different sketch pens తో వేసి, బొమ్మలు వేసి. I still remember there was this fish diagram ఉండి, 3rd class అనుకుంటా, fish fins and this అని చెప్పి మొత్తం అంతా description ఉంటుంది. So whatever she drew a fish diagram, she made it a pictorial depiction అన్నమాట. And that is how each page would be in different color. So it was interesting for me to read. And then the exam mundu ఏంటంటే, I never used to read before the exam. What she used to do is, exam mundu in పక్కన కూర్చొని పక్కన పడుకుంటే she used to read the whole lessons అన్నమాట. And that is how I used to go and write the exams and all this stuff. బట్ కొంచెం ముందుకెళ్ళిన తర్వాత వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్ వాజ్ ద సిస్టమ్ వాజ్ ఇన్ సచ్ వే దట్ టీచర్ చెప్పిన ఆన్సర్ రాయాలి, వాళ్ళు ఇచ్చిన పారాగ్రాఫ్ అయితే ఇస్తారో అదే రాయాలి, అలాగే ఉండాలి. సో దట్ వాజ్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ ఫర్ మీ అనమాట. అమ్మ చెప్పిన సినాప్సిస్ వాజ్ దేర్, ఐ యూస్ రిమెంబర్ దట్ అండ్ ఐ టు రీప్రొడ్యూస్ ఇట్ హియర్. But then teachers would not do it. In my 10th class, I had a wonderful teacher. Notes undedi kaadu, social, English, science, none of them, biology, denki notes undedi. I said, don't bring notebooks. Come to my class, listen to me. And that is how I got through all my colleges and all this stuff also. But then this, even now, I cannot read a book. Book undi ante, if you see me reading, వీడు బుక్ చదువుతున్నాడా లేకపోతే ఏడుస్తున్నాడా అనుకుంటా. 3 pages, I read the first line, second line, third line, and when I go to the fourth line, I'm actually reading the second line, తెలీదు. Once upon a time there was a king, he had 7 sons, they went to forest, he had 7 sons. 7 sons వచ్చారు కదా మళ్ళీ వస్తున్నారు ఏంటి, ఇదే ఉండదు అనమాట. That is the reason why I could not learn Telugu and could not learn so many things. So what I do is I make my life easy. Apart from being dyslexic, I'm a very lazy person. So they say, lazy people find different ways to make life comfortable. So I found these audiobooks, podcasts and all this stuff. You put it on the speaker, go on a car, go on a drive. Oka 2 rounds of outer ring road lo Godfather అయిపోతుంది. So that is how I've converted myself to still reading books.